Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classic Sus and Unclassic. This is episode number 579 and Doubleshot number 473. Two Guardians of the Galaxy trades, and they are Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, New Guard, Volume 2, Volume 3 Civil War, and Volume 4 Grounded. I will talk about this soon. First up, it's Civil War 2, collecting Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 4, issues 11 to 14, and a story from the Free Comic Day special that came out 2 years ago. Yeah, with that one, it's just, well, it doesn't feature the Guardians per se, but it features Thanos, and it kind of is the reason why the Guardians came to Earth in the first place. Yeah, in the one shot, Thanos kills War Machine and puts She-Hulk into a coma. Yeah, this happened 2 years ago, and it was confirmed at the start of the Civil War 2 that he did indeed die. Also, this book, this is also kind of, well, it does show kind of what happened with the Guardians, like during Civil War 2, like with their ship being blown up. Yeah, a ship they've had since the start of Brian Michael Bendis' run. So after 3 years of having a ship, the ship was destroyed. They do get a new ship as a replacement. And also there's one issue where they had to fight the Skrulls and Spider-Man's involved. Yep. And also thing starts off with Angela back on the team. Now I should point out though, I'll point this out when it gets to the next volume. But in the case of this, when it comes, well, I'll point when it comes to Angela. Now Brian Michael Bendis does the writing, obviously. The artwork is done by a few different artists. Excuse me. It's done by Valerino Shigati, does the first 3 issues in here. Kevin McGuire does issue 14. The Free Comic Day issue, that is done by Jim Chung. Yep. The cover art, that's done by Arthur Adams. He's actually a really good artist. Yeah. Overall, for a tie into Civil War 2, it's good. It just basically expands upon stuff basically that happened with the Guardians during Civil War 2. It also kind of shows their point of view of around the same time their ship was destroyed, because if you read the book, if you didn't read this, you're like, oh, the Guardians just show up completely at random. Like, where the heck did these guys come from? Like, when did they show up? This book basically explains how the heck they got involved. Basically, Carol asked them to get involved, and of course, Carol also informed Kitty what's been going on since pretty much the end of Secret Wars. Well, basically, it's while she was going on in space, like the stuff going on with the X-Men, the Inhumans, stuff like that. Also, up here is really good. I'm gonna give this book a 9.5 out of 10. Yeah, with the ship destroyed, they're grounded. Now, what goes on with Rocket Raccoon and Star-Lord, that's actually explored in their own solo books. Yeah, Star-Lord was relaunched toward the end of Civil War 2, which is where he got his new outfit, which he currently has right now. Rocket, of course, got a brief ongoing series where he fought Kraven the Hunter for the first time ever in his career. Yeah, these issues, these are the last 5 issues of Bendis' run for the book. Yeah. These are issues 15 and 19. These are all standalone issues. Now, the first one is a focus on the Thing. Yeah, the whole point of this issue is just a backdoor pilot to the infamous Iron Man series of why he's there. Also, Whiplash shows up in the issue, along with Maria Hill. Yeah, this Whiplash, Anton Vanko. Yeah, the guy who's based upon the version of Whiplash from the Iron Man movie. Yep. That's the first issue. Also, Mary Jane Watts has something here and mentioned of Tony Stark. 16 is just a standalone issue focus on Groot. Groot did briefly have an ongoing series with Rocket around the same time, around the time prior to Civil War 2. After 11 issues, the series was relaunched simply as Rocket Raccoon and Groot stuff on his own. Yeah, and he also got a chance to fight the Armadillo. Yeah, but there's like no dialogue bubbles. It's just basically these strange, these random words. These words are just put together like this. Yeah, and that's the Armadillo, and Groot beats the crap out of him. He's not a character that's featured very much, but it's nice the fact I got a chance to feature him. One set of dialogue here and there, but yeah, Groot basically hangs out in Central Park. 17 is just focused on Gamora, which just feels like more of a kind of a loose connection to Civil War II, with her trying to break into the Triskelion to get Thanos, though she gets captured and she's left there for a couple issues. Yep. Now here's the thing about the next issue. Issue number 18. This issue is kind of a follow-up to the Angela Queen of Hell series, where she goes back to her apartment she had toward the end of that comic book, where she was living with her girlfriend Sarah. And she gets there, Sarah has mysteriously disappeared, and, well, she just goes around, beats up people. Now, I would expect maybe the original Thor to show up, hey, let her go, that's my sister. Yeah, it was revealed the original sin that Angela is Thor's sister. Yeah, because Jason Aaron did that. Yeah, just simply put what she was up to during the whole thing. It's just basically a nice little story for her. I kind of wish we got more stuff with her. Though the whole point of the issue, kind of the end of it, does set the final issue of Bendis' run by having the Guardians reunite after several issues being apart. They reunite, beat up Thanos, capture him, get into a spaceship, and they go back to space. But they go with half the roster. Yeah, for some reason, I have no idea why Bendis did this. Probably because Duggan probably told him to do this because he was the writer who succeeded him. Yeah, Kitty Pryde, The Thing, and Venom, and Angela will all remove from the roster. The Thing went to infamous Iron Man, though he's now currently in Marvel 2 against Fantastic Four, and Fantastic Four is coming back. As for Venom, he lost a symbiote for some stupid reason, went to Lee Pierce, and now it's back with Eddie Brock again. Though now currently, Flash Thompson is anti-Venom. Kitty Pryde is back with the X-Men, where she's the leader of the X-Men. Yeah, she's basically in the X-Men Gold Book. As for Angela, no idea. Because after Bendis wrapped up his run, she only showed up a couple times after this. I mean, outside of this book, she popped up in an arc for Thor. And she popped up for like one appearance, and that was it. It almost kind of seemed like maybe like 4 people even cared to give a damn about this character. Yeah, you have Bendis, you have Jason Aaron, Karen Gillian, and Margie Bennett. That's it. These are the only 4 people who actually did anything with Angela. It's almost kind of like for the writers at Marvel, they were embarrassed to have her in the universe, so she's barely used anymore, and it's been a year since she's last physically appeared in the comic book. And I love Angela, great character. I mean, yes, she's more associated with Spawn, but the only reason why she's at Marvel because Neil Gaiman sued McFarlane over the character, won, and then sold the character off to Marvel. That's what happened that's why she's there. And she's been at Marvel now. I'm not talking about the actual relaunch. Marvel right now. She's been with the company now. She's been inside Marvel Comics for 5 years now. And what book she's basically appeared in? She appeared in Guardians, appeared in 2 ongoing series, popped up occasionally in Thor, and that's really it. It's kind of like I said, no one cares about this character at all. I love the character, I really do. Some people wish she wouldn't go back to Image so she can hang out with Spawn again, but here's kind of the thing. McFarlane decided to kill off the character in Spawn 100. Yeah, after she's been a recurring character for, I don't know, almost 10 years, and then he kills her off in issue 100. I'm not kidding, if you read it, she does get killed off in the issue. Though at Image, outside of the main Spawn book, she didn't really do very much. Kind of like at Marvel, a character who's barely used. If I could think of a book she can go to, well, since she's not with the Guardians anymore, maybe she can hang out with the Avengers. That would be interesting. But who knows if any writer would actually use her anymore. I personally would love to see her on any Avengers team. Heck, I would love to see her on the Kenny Avengers team. That would be interesting because they get characters like Thor. Thor's sister, mind you. And that's really it. I love these issues, I really do. I didn't have a really big problem with Bendis left because I think he did all he wanted to do with the book, and Gary Duggan was definitely an excellent choice to succeed him. And I don't know if the book's... I think the book is probably coming back after Infinity Wars. Probably is. But after this, book got relaunched as all new Guardians, then it got restarted. And then resumed its triple digit numbering after releasing 12 issues of all new Guardians of the Galaxy. Yep. And the only reason why I could think if they restarted the numbering was because Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 was coming out the same month. Yeah, the film. Which also had to give it a one-shot and a mini-series. Yeah, Marvel was very heavily marketing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, so they basically decided to do a bunch of stuff with it. I give this book a 9.5 out of 10. It's an amazing book. And I kind of wish that the Star-Lord and the Rocket Raccoon series were not canceled because they were good comic books. Rocket Raccoon, I'm trying to think. I think it was Matthew Rosenberg who wrote that comic book. For Star-Lord, that was written by Chip Zdarsky, and he did the comic like right after they ended Howard the Duck. I'm not kidding about that. Because it's like, right after Howard the Duck ended, he did Star-Lord, and after Star-Lord ended, he moved over to Peter Parker Tech Experiment, which he's still there. He's been in the book for over a year now, and of course he got Marvel 2-in-1 just late last year. So, yeah. I'm glad the fact Zdarsky is getting a chance to get more work to do. I mean, I love his work. I've tweeted him. I've actually friends with him on Facebook. But as for Bendis, I've never met him before. I follow him on Twitter. I've tweeted him once. Yeah, he's gonna be doing Superman soon. So I've got most of his Guardians run pretty much reviewed. The only runs I can think of I review the entirety of is his run for Kenny X-Men, all new X-Men. And that's it. That's all I reviewed so far. I haven't reviewed fully of Guardians yet. I reviewed every single trade that collects his run for Guardians, except for 2. I haven't reviewed the second and third volume is run. Basically, Angela, which is the second volume, and third one, which is Guardians Assembled. Now, I should point this out, though, about this particular thing. Now, at the start of this, they have this little start here, far of the Guardians of the Galaxy. They have it at where started the first trade for Brian Michael Bendis. That's a good place if you want to start reading Bendis' run, but not the present-day Guardians. You see, the best place to start with them, start with Annihilation. That is where they get their start from. With that miniseries that was by Keith Giffen. But start from there, do all the tie-ins, and then do Nova, and then of course Annihilation Conquest, and then jump into Guardians like right after. Yeah, there's some prerequisites you have to read before you get into Guardians, like Annihilation Conquest, but at least you get set up for Guardians. And then you have Annihilation Run is fantastic. I highly recommend it. It's only 25 issues, and Marvel did release a special edition, 2-volume special edition trade, which does collect the entire 25-issue run of the book. It's too bad they released an annual during the run. Though Bendis did release an annual for the previous volume for the series. Not this volume, surprisingly. Though I don't get why in the world the book had to be restarted. They could have just continued the numbering. So, combined for 2 volumes, Bendis did roughly 46 issues. That's not too bad for a 4-year run. Yeah, he wrote this book for 4 years. Yeah, doing 46 issues is actually a pretty good amount. That's almost 4 years. That's almost like 50 issues, which is actually pretty good. It's actually one of the very few comics he's actually done more than just a year or 2. I mean, look at, let's say, Uncanny X-Men. You know how long he was on that book for? 3 years. Yeah. This book was on a little bit longer. I would say of all the books he ever written for Marvel, I would say his longest book he's ever been on, aside from Ultimate X-Men, is probably New Avengers. Yeah, because he wrote 98 issues for that series. And he did it in just 7 years. I would say close behind that is probably his run for Daredevil, and this is probably his 4th longest book he's ever stayed on, because almost everything else is done in Marvel. He's only staying there for like 2, maybe 3 years. I mean, heck, he's ending his run for Iron Man at the end of the book for 3 years now. Yeah, after 3 years. Actually, it's a little over 2 years he was on the book, and now he's finally end the book with the 600th issue. Yep. So that's it for this video. Stay tuned for the next episode, which is going to be 2 DC books. One is going to be a book featuring the Titans. The other one's, of course, featuring the Flash. Okay? But you'll find out what trades they are in the next video, which will be episode number 580 and Doubleshot number 474. Okay? But until we see you in the next episode, bye.